I'm so happy you stayed here with me on the review because I've got a very interesting guest on the inside. He is the chief or the CEO of the website Wired 868 and is here to discuss some of the big stories with me. Welcome to the review, Lasana Liburd.
Yes, hi James.
It's so good to finally get a man of your esteem on the inside. And every time you're on the inside, it means we're discussing big stories. And the big story right now seems to be the TTFA Brent Sancho issue.
I mean, TTFA World Cup players, I would say.
Sancho seems to be the point man, the spokesperson on this project.
Yeah, this story has been brewing for quite some time. The money was supposed to be paid since September. I think a lot of people were not aware that it was more than one payment that was due to the players. After the big press conference and so on, the first time they had the agreement with the TTFA.
Being paid in installments.
That's right, and also I think there are probably 4 more installments after this to be paid as well. I think they'll finally be paid off. I think probably September 2015, sorry, at the earliest. Yeah. Since September last year, we've been asking around. We heard that the money hasn't gone. And of course, the players have been a bit anxious knowing what they have been through. And it wasn't much of a surprise that eventually it leaked out and we are where we are right now.
So how serious is this? Are we looking at another run into the TTFF and go with the coach and then the FA trophy?
Well, I think we might be past that stage right now, to be honest. Even when they did that, as I understand, it was more about sending a message to the TTFA back then. I think the message was received loud and clear, right? If anything were to be done right now, the talk is about winding up the football body, and who knows what the implications to that would be.
Well, speaking of implications, how serious is this? How impactful do you expect, or how much of an impact do you expect this to have on the football right now?
That's a ticklish one for this reason. Now the FA kind of expects it. They kind of, after the levy, let's say about 2 years ago, and they know what's going on. They know the court cases there. They know what the possibilities are. So I wouldn't be surprised if the TTFA, has done a bit better job at I don't want to say hiding its assets, but I would think that they would have some sort of plan B.
To hide the coach somewhere out of the office that the players may
maybe the coach might be in your name,
Well, I've got the TTFA Communications Director on the line, Sean Fuentes. He's with us. Good evening to you, Sean.
Yeah, good evening.
Well, Sean, I've got Lasana Liburd on the inside here with me. And basically, we were discussing the issue that has been brewing. Brent Sancho obviously sent out a letter to the press. I just want to get from the TTFF standpoint, or the TTFA standpoint, rather, what is your take on the issue?
Are we really discussing it, or are we having a laugh over the whole matter? Because to me, it appears as though the last few days, people are trying to make a laughing stock of the whole matter. It's a really serious matter. You're talking about Trinidad and Tobago football and
how serious is this matter, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty serious. I mean, the fact is that, a lot of words have been thrown from either side. The matter has gone to court, it's out of court, there's a settlement. You have an association who is still financially cash-strapped and making every effort. Some may think it's not enough effort to ensure that these players are left satisfied at the end of the day. Barring the fact that, okay, a payment is overdue. But that, the bottom line is that if the money could have been found right away, I'm quite sure, that money would be going towards the players without a doubt.
So, Sean, are you saying that it's unfair for the players now to claim that
I think it's unfair to both sides to some extent, because yes, the governing body of football has been there for how many years. So people are still, no matter what this current administration does, this administration has a lot to do still to win over the nation. But they've been making some strides quietly. But we still be in that cloud of the Jack Warner era, and the TTFF era is still over this current administration. And I think that, that is something that has continued to plague the association. But in saying that, you're talking about a lot of things happening within the body now. We have a national coach who is going into his 3rd month without being paid a monthly salary. And a lot of things now, people are saying, well, we're using this as excuses, but we're not really using it as an excuse. I think people need to understand as well. The public is not educated enough to realize that efforts are being made to continue the football and to make little strides wherever possible. At a lot of sacrifice. And at the same time, we did not say to the players that, okay, we're going to go public and let the public know that because of we trying to satisfy your payments, that, football is suffering a bit.
Well, Sean, from what I'm hearing you saying, though, Sean, you've pulled off the plaster on an issue that seems to be, even in my opinion, a bit more major, if that's a proper expression, than the actual non-payment of the players. Funding seems to be a thorn in the butt for the TTFA these days. How serious is the funding issue?
It's so serious, James, you will not believe. We have a situation where, everybody knows about the coaches not being paid. They're talking about a senior team coach now not being paid for 3 months and holding on to the job. But again, we don't want to make this an excuse, because I think personally I have a relationship with these players. I was part of this 2006 squad. So that remains the top priority. So we're not going to try to push it under the couch and say, or push it under the man and say, well, we're struggling so much and therefore the population or the players must sympathize with us. We don't want it to be that way. But at the same time, I think it's only fair that people also realize the kind of struggles being faced by the administration. We're talking about right now, as I speak, we had a meeting, the annual Congress is being held on Sunday for the TTFA. And the TTFA is close to $60 million in debt. You're talking about not just the players, you're talking about the man who drives the maxi taxi to transport players. You're talking about the persons who prepare meals for national teams. You're talking about the cleaners in the office. And you're talking about in-house staff that a lot of people tend to think, well, the TTFA doesn't even have a staff that is operational, but there is a staff that is there to try to, carry out the day-to-day basis of football operations. They have not received their salaries for this month. They probably will not receive it until next month. But in saying that, I think, we can't hide from the fact that we're engaged in a battle with the players, and that remains the top priority. Even with the situation, with the Lasana situation, people are thinking, well, that is settled, so you put that on top of the agenda ahead of the players. That's not so. We were facing another court issue, and thankfully, I think Russell was able to come to an agreement with the TTFA, but he has not been paid a cent. God knows when he'll receive something, but I think he understands the situation. And, I'm hearing my name being called as someone who wrote an article in the Newsday which caused that sort of gangster response from Ben Sancho. And it really was not an article written by us. The Newsday called for an interview to get our comments. And I simply said that, we're asking for patience. A lot of other comments were made with regards to Shaka, etc. And I spoke to Brent about this. He said, well, we both obligated to two sets of different people. I said, that's fair, but at the end of the day, you don't go in the public domain over a situation and try to assassinate people's personal character. You don't talk about, you have people like Kelvin Jack talking about this is the same rubbish, it's the same administration, the same rubbish of the previous one.
No, Sean.
Totally unfair.
No, Sean, I've got to take a break. I've got to take a break now. But in 30 seconds, tell me real quickly, what can the TTFA and the players do to come together, to work together, to address an issue that seems to be even greater, which is the funding issue?
I think right now money is at top of the agenda. So I don't see, while we would like to, obviously, we embrace these players as best as possible. I personally do it on behalf of the TTFA. I'm good friends with Brent and everybody else. As a matter of fact, he's asked me what we're doing for my birthday tomorrow. I was like, Brent,
happy birthday in advance.
You know what I mean? But I think money is the main factor right now. Money, if we can't get the money to take care of that, I think this matter is going to continue and it's going to get even more heated.
Well, thank you very much, Sean, for this. And of course, you got your first happy birthday greetings right here on The Review. Friends, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back with more inside of The Review.